Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy. Today we're comparing the V6 Wrangler to the Wrangler 392 to see if the 392 is worth the extra $30,000. Before we get into this video, link to the Jeep here in Sandy's website in the description down below. Link to my car buying guide too. Let's get into it. Powering the first Wrangler is a 3.6 liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 18 around town, 23 on the highway, with power outputs being 285 horsepower and then 260 pound-feet of torque. Now powering the V8 Wrangler is a 6.4 liter Hemi V8 that goes through an 8-speed. Fuel economy is 13 around town, 16 on the highway, with power outputs being 470 horsepower and then 470 pound-feet of torque. Before I move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. The Wrangler 392 has this cool hydro guide there on the hood. The regular Wrangler does not, it just has fake vents. Now the 392 has a lot of bronze accents, whereas the V6 Wrangler has a lot of red accents. Now you notice that both these have the same tire and wheel setup. They also have the same bumpers, fender flares, all of that. I mean, I suppose the wheel design's a little bit different with them. But the point I'm trying to make is most of the running gear is pretty similar with the vehicles. However, the 392 has been beefed up to be able to handle the extra horsepower that the V8 has. Anyways, another difference, you got step sliders here with the 392, whereas you've got regular sliders with the V6. The V6 interior has a ton of red accenting all throughout. It also has a payload capacity of 850 pounds, and the vehicle weight with this is about 5,400 pounds. And being a Rubicon, this has diff locks front and rear and a sway bar disconnect. 392 has the same exact interior, except it has the bronze accenting instead of red. Payload's also identical at 850 pounds, but this does weigh a little bit more. It's closer to about 5,600 pounds. And yes, the 392 has all the diff locks and everything. I was about to go over the prices, but I noticed the shocks are actually different. So this is the Rubicon V6, and then this is the 392. Now when it comes to pricing, the V6 is about $73,000 and the 392 is about $102,000. So again, about a $30,000 price difference. Let's see how they perform. Well, 392, definitely, yeah, cool sound. I owned one of these for about 2 years, put about 13,000 miles on it. And I'll just say it at the beginning, the reason why I ended up selling that, I'll go through the other way. The reason I ended up selling that is because it is just not a great daily driver. If you have like short commutes, this is perfect, it's fine. But long highway commutes, and there's just a little bit too much noise, and that's a Wrangler thing, it's not a 392 thing. You close the valves on the exhaust for the 392, and it's actually not that bad on the highway. But yeah, just the wind noise, the tire noise, and all of that gets old after a while. But such a beast. Now the 392, because it's full-time four-wheel drive, steering is unique in a Wrangler, and I will say uniquely vague. Whenever you have full-time four-wheel drive, you're going to have steering that's going to be just a little bit more vague than if you have a part-time system. It's just kind of how it goes when you've got the front wheels coupled up to receiving power. Now the torque that this provides is phenomenal. Ride quality, it's solid axle front and rear, so it's not the most comfortable, but it's not bad. The new rear axle setup in the Wranglers actually helps out quite a bit with handling, and therefore kind of makes it a little bit less jarring to ride in. Still drives like a Jeep though. But I will say this feels a lot more tank-like. I think a big part of that is, well, it does way more than a regular Wrangler, but also just having a V8, it just gives it a cool, substantial feel. Definitely a bit of a firmer ride. It's not horrible, but it is quite noticeable. Man, the torque that this thing provides is great. On the low end, right, again, you got a big naturally aspirated V8, so you got quick response, and then you just got this strong low end. It's quite impressive. This is a Jeep that actually is fast. It's actually fast. Like, you know, most of the time Wranglers are pretty slow to get up and move. This thing though, it rockets. And so, I mean, this already has 35s. Like most of the time you load 35s onto a Wrangler and it's like, boom, acceleration, nah, sometimes when it feels like it. Yeah, this is strong. And I think that although it's not necessary, it's nice to have, because with the added acceleration, it makes it so this is, again, like I said, not the best daily driver, but it makes it so it's more daily drivable, because you don't feel like it's taking 20 years to get from 0 to 60. Again, it actually has some get up and go. It's nice. It's nice. So 392, it's got all this stuff. Like if you're a Jeep person, this is the ultimate Jeep. That being said, I'll just say it, I think this is too expensive. I think that Jeep, and here's the thing is, it's not just Jeep. Ford did the same thing with the Bronco Raptor. Both manufacturers got too greedy with their halo off-roaders, and they're just too expensive. I bought my 392 for about 80 grand. That's still a ton of money for a Jeep, but that made sense because it's like, oh, I'm just paying a little bit of a premium over a V6 with 35s. But now, I mean, it's a huge premium. So I do think that the 392 is a little bit, I shouldn't say a little bit, a lot of it too expensive. I think that this and the Bronco Raptor should be $80,000 vehicles. $80,000, they would sell so well. And that's the thing is, if as soon as these get down to the $80,000 range, gone. Just my 2 cents. Going from the V8 to the V6, I'll be honest, it feels like a big downgrade. It does. I mean, the steering's better in this, like right off the bat. It feels a lot more direct than the 392, but just the engine sound alone, it's so disappointing compared to the 392. But is it $30,000 less? Or sorry, is the Wrangler 392 sound $30,000 better? And it's like, no. $30,000 is a lot of money. What I will say is they do feel like Wranglers, but they do feel like different vehicles. The 392 has, again, a big heavy engine over the front axle. So it has this kind of like heavy tank-like feel on the front end. Whereas this has kind of more of a lightweight, nimble feel. Now again, the actual vehicle weight isn't that different. It's just the weight distribution. This is going to have less weight over the front axle, so that's kind of, and also the front axle is decoupled because this has two-wheel drive versus the 392 has four-wheel drive only. So yeah, it makes the front end feel lighter. Makes it feel like kind of a different vehicle. I feel like the 392 actually had better, no, here's the deal. The 392's engine's so loud that it kind of tunes out some of the road noise. So this, it seems like there's more road noise, but really it's because the engine's so quiet that you hear the road noise more. It's kind of like when you get in an EV. Yeah, it's a little bit, I think this is a little bit easier to drive. I mean, the steering wheel is also pretty different, right? You don't have the paddle shifters on the back. You don't have the perforated leather trim. You have this like synthetic trim, which actually I like. Synthetic stuff a lot of times holds up better over time. Oh man, this is brutal. It's so slow compared. Like you don't have the torque. You don't have, it's got pretty good response, but it's nowhere near as responsive. It's disappointing. So I guess, I mean, I guess at this point I can tell you, yeah, 392, I definitely prefer how that drives and sounds and everything. But it's not $30,000 more car. That's the problem. Jeep's just gotten a little bit too greedy with that one. You know, when it was 80 grand, that made a lot more sense. 70 to 80 grand for 392 makes a lot more sense. But, you know, 100 grand, and it's just too much. Like, I'm okay with dealing with this and having $30,000 in the bank. That's my 2 cents on that. So I do think the 392 is really cool. It's an awesome concept, but I do think, and yeah, it's just the kind of the thing that's happened with cars post-COVID. I just think that Jeep's gotten a little bit too greedy with the 392, and they need to bring down the price. And the thing is, like, 392s are stacking up on dealer lots. It was, hear me out on this. It was harder for me to get a hold of this than the 392. The 392, I had like 8 different ones to choose from. I think this was the only Extreme Recon that I actually saw on the dealer's lot. These are selling, 392s aren't. And again, it just comes down to pricing. Okay, this is 73,000. If the 392 is 83,000, $10,000 price premium for the engine. That would make so much sense. That would make all the sense in the world. It's like you're paying 10 grand, which is still a boatload of money, but you get a much more premium engine. At that price point, every single 392 would be sold. Every single one that comes in. They wouldn't have, you know, 8 of them sitting on the lot. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my 2 cents. I think that the 392 is objectively a better Jeep. It's more exciting and all of that. I just think it's too much money. And I think that if it was priced at 10 grand more, then the 392 would be the winner. But at the $30,000 price gap, I think this one's a better value.